Managing stakeholders effectively involves a structured four-step approach. It begins with stakeholder exploration, where all individuals or groups impacted by the project are identified. Following this, stakeholder analysis and mapping helps in assessing stakeholders' levels of interest, influence, and impact on the project. This mapping allows project managers to prioritize stakeholders and tailor engagement strategies appropriately, ensuring that attention is focused where it is most needed. The third step, stakeholder communication strategy, involves planning how, when, and what to communicate to different stakeholders, ensuring that messaging is clear, consistent, and aligned with stakeholder expectations. Finally, Inspect and Adapt is about continuously monitoring stakeholder engagement and making necessary adjustments based on feedback and project developments. This iterative process ensures that stakeholder management remains dynamic, responsive, and closely aligned with the project's evolving needs. Managing stakeholder engagement requires a structured approach involving specific inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs. Key inputs include the project management plan, particularly the communications, risk, stakeholder engagement, and change management plans, and project documents such as the change log, issue log, lessons learned register, and stakeholder register. In addition, enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets provide context and resources needed for effective engagement. The tools and techniques employed in this process focus heavily on interpersonal skills, including communication, conflict management, negotiation, and political awareness. Expert judgment, regular meetings, and established ground rules support these efforts. The outputs of managing stakeholder engagement are essential updates. Change requests, updates to the project management plan, especially communication and stakeholder plans, and updates to key project documents like the change log and stakeholder register, ensuring continuous alignment with stakeholder needs and expectations. Managing stakeholders effectively follows a structured four-step process. It begins with stakeholder exploration, where all potential stakeholders are identified and understood in terms of their interests, influence, and expectations. Following this, the process moves into stakeholder analysis and mapping, which involves categorizing stakeholders based on their power, influence, and interest levels. This step ensures that engagement strategies are appropriately prioritized and targeted. Next is the creation of a stakeholder communication strategy, ensuring that tailored messages, channels, and frequency are defined to keep each stakeholder group informed and engaged. Finally, in Inspect and Adapt, stakeholder interactions are continually reviewed and improved through feedback loops, ensuring that engagement remains effective throughout the project lifecycle. This cyclical approach ensures that stakeholder management evolves as the project progresses. The stakeholders matrix helps categorize stakeholders into 4 groups. The first group includes the managed most thoroughly with high interest and high influence. These stakeholders must be actively engaged and carefully managed to ensure project success. The second group includes the keep completely informed high interest and low influence. Stakeholders with a strong interest but less influence still need regular and detailed updates to maintain trust and support. The third group includes the anticipate and meet needs low interest and high influence. Although less interested, their high influence demands proactive service and responsiveness to their needs. Finally, the fourth group that includes regular minimal contact low interest and low influence. These stakeholders require the least engagement but should not be ignored entirely. Occasional updates suffice. Effective stakeholder management is critical for project success, particularly when integrating corporate social responsibility (CSR) principles. Utilizing a power interest grid, stakeholders are classified into groups for tailored engagement. High-power low-interest groups like management and investors are kept satisfied, while high-power high-interest groups such as end users require close management. Operations teams and SMEs who have lower power but higher interest are kept informed, and developers who have lower power and interest, monitored with minimal effort. Complementing this, RACI matrices for general project functions and initiation phases assign clear responsibility and accountability, ensuring efficient execution, seamless communication, and active management of stakeholder expectations. Further strengthening this framework, stakeholder engagement is assessed using a 5-level model: unaware, resistant, neutral, supportive, and leading, tracking both current and desired states. This allows project teams to proactively identify gaps in engagement and implement strategies to shift stakeholders toward more supportive or leading roles. By combining structured classification, clearly defined roles, and ongoing engagement assessment, projects are better positioned to foster trust, build commitment, and drive both operational and CSR-aligned outcomes to successful delivery. Effective stakeholder management is fundamental to project success, particularly when corporate social responsibility (CSR) goals are in scope. Using a power interest grid, stakeholders are categorized and engaged accordingly. Influential but less interested groups like executives are kept satisfied, highly interested and powerful groups such as customers are actively managed, while operational teams are kept informed and developers are monitored with minimal effort. Complementing this, RACI matrices for general project functions and project initiation phases establish clear lines of responsibility, accountability, consultation, and information sharing across key activities. Understanding the broader landscape. Stakeholders are further divided into internal, employees, managers, owners, and external groups, ensuring that engagement strategies are tailored to each stakeholder's relationship with the organization. Beyond initial classification, continuous monitoring of stakeholder engagement is critical for maintaining momentum and managing change. Engagement levels, tracked across 5 stages from unaware to leading, highlight both current and target states to inform intervention strategies. The process of monitoring uses structured inputs like the stakeholder register, techniques such as decision-making analysis, and outputs like change requests and updates to management plans. Critically, stakeholder management does not exist in isolation. It dynamically interacts with organizational governance, stakeholder perceptions, and the organization's reputation. Governance creates sustainable value through actions and communications, shaping perceptions that, in turn, affect reputation. This cyclical relationship reinforces the importance of proactive, transparent, and inclusive stakeholder engagement as a driver of both project outcomes and broader organizational success. Effective stakeholder management is essential for successful project execution, particularly when aligned with corporate social responsibility principles. Using a stakeholder power interest grid, key groups are categorized to guide engagement. Management and investors must be kept satisfied. End users require close management, operations teams and SMEs are kept informed, and the development team is monitored with minimal effort. This structured approach ensures communication, involvement, and influence are proportionate to each stakeholder group's needs and impact, building trust and fostering commitment across the project lifecycle. Supporting this, clear role delineation through RACI matrices during both general project functions and initiation phases ensures accountability and avoids confusion. The project owner and sponsor maintain overall accountability, while project managers lead planning, initiation, and governance activities. Business analysts and project analysts are responsible for key deliverables like business requirements and implementation approaches, consulting SMEs and technical specialists where necessary. This rigorous mapping of responsibility, consultation, and communication ensures that all tasks are executed efficiently and stakeholder expectations are managed effectively, paving the way for successful project delivery. Monitor stakeholders is the process of systematically tracking and reviewing relationships with stakeholders and tailoring strategies to maintain or increase their engagement and support throughout the project lifecycle. Effective stakeholder management is fundamental to project success, particularly when corporate social responsibility goals are in scope. Using a power interest grid, stakeholders are categorized and engaged accordingly. Influential but less interested groups like executives are kept satisfied, highly interested and powerful groups such as customers are actively managed, while operational teams are kept informed and developers are monitored with minimal effort. Complementing this, RACI matrices for general project functions and project initiation phases establish clear lines of responsibility, accountability, consultation, and information sharing across key activities. Together, these frameworks promote efficiency, clarity, and alignment across diverse stakeholder groups. Beyond initial classification, continuous engagement monitoring is critical. Stakeholder engagement levels are tracked across 5 stages: unaware, resistant, neutral, supportive, and leading, highlighting both current and target states to inform engagement strategies. Monitoring stakeholder engagement involves structured inputs, analytical techniques, and outputs that guide project teams in adjusting plans, addressing resistance, and strengthening relationships. Tools such as data analysis, decision-making frameworks, and interpersonal skills ensure proactive management of stakeholder dynamics. This integrated approach, classification, role assignment, ongoing engagement assessment, and monitoring, creates a resilient foundation for achieving project and CSR objectives, building lasting stakeholder trust along the way. Stakeholder management is not a one-time task, it requires continual assessment and adjustment. The engagement process follows a clear cycle: identify stakeholders, analyze their needs and influence, plan effective engagement approaches, and finally engage and communicate proactively. Engagement levels, tracked from unaware to resistant, neutral, supportive, and leading, help the team tailor communication and involvement strategies. Inputs like the stakeholder register, decision-making analyses, and feedback mechanisms inform ongoing adjustments, while outputs like change requests and updates to communication plans ensure alignment. Stakeholder management operates within a larger system where organizational governance shapes stakeholder perceptions and, ultimately, the organization's reputation. Effective communication, reflection, and actions that create sustainable value feed this virtuous cycle, reinforcing both project success and long-term organizational credibility. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to excellence and your dedication to mastering the profession. We wish you resounding success on your path to certification.